hi there, Trash Fam. It's me, Praxis Descends, unfortunately. Here to deliver you your latest slice of it's me. Delicious Star Trek cinnamon cake that has not fallen in dirt. And as Sable retreats from the room with a look of shame and disgust on his face, I feel it's only fair to introduce these three lovely people who you might not recognize from regular trash programming, but who are in fact the crew of the Starship Iskandar. Oh, I was about to say of the Star Trek Iskandar. that's not a thing. I'm also quite sick, so be kind to me.
Poor Vulcan Space Mom.
Oh no, Vulcans don't get sick. This is all Borov.
So Borov can't get sick.
Oh, can one be the chief medical officer if one needs medical? Introduce yourselves, scrubs.
Hi, I'm Kath. I'll be GMing for the evening, and so I won't be playing Captain Hassan, but I may appear with the apparently to be accent-shamed Chief of Security, Lieutenant Vance. But mostly
pretty ideal said your Texan accent was okay. You got a pass.
Fine.
Texas approved.
Texas approved. Also, it's really bad when I have to swap between it rapidly as well, so that doesn't help. So, Emily.
Yes, hello, I am Emily, and I will be playing the Chief Engineer, Adam Strange, and Wayward Fly Person, Fly NB, and Adina Cantos.
Like, are you reading your introduction? Well, you kept looking down like you were reading. Hi, I'm
Mike, and I'm a Star Trek person.
I'm here for Star Trek.
I like space.
Not to shame where you happen to look while you introduce yourself, but I have questions. Who are you? What have you done with the real Mike?
Mike, you might be mute.
It's quite possible that nobody heard any of that.
All you get is we mocked him. Well, it's weird because we can hear him.
Yeah, we could hear him. Therefore, there's a problem. Is it that you didn't put in your outputs? Well,
no.
People can't hear you. Everybody, as soon as you can finally hear Mike when it happens, like, throw a lot of random emojis in the chat and then we'll know. Until then, Mike is trying to fix his sound.
Do you want to? Does he want to do some shit while Mike's fiddling?
Yeah. So, to keep you guys up to speed on how it is we do things around here, rather than the traditional roleplay group where you have a game master or a storyteller who runs the game for a lot of hapless rubes that just happen to be there to roll dice and take names. The four of us each have a pair of characters that
I should be on now.
Make noises.
Keep talking, Michael. Keep talking.
Hello, my name is Mike. I play Ensign Samuel Cayce. I play Lieutenant Corazal, and I am not mute. Please.
And you're still reading.
You're still reading.
Oh, I see emojis. Emojis are here. That's Hillary. Nailed it. So,
Hey.
I'm sorry if I have broken any of the Mike treaties by insulting a Mike.
Am I going to get murdered in my bed by Mike?
Yeah, three bikes Mike is going to show up at your door. And
Three bikes Mike.
Three bikes Mike is the nickname for the three favourite Mikes of the Trash Fam, who are Mike Kilburn, Mike who is Interiority, and Michael Bowman. They are the favourite Mikes. We love them, and the bikes thing
is... they're all going to kill me. Okay.
Anyway, so what you might have noticed is that we all have two characters each. Those 8 characters, that was maths, that was hard. Never ask me to do maths again. Those 8 characters constitute some of the high-ranking officers on board the starship of the USS Iskandar, and we alternate between them as is relevant. We have a primary and a secondary. but we alternate who is captaining. That was a poor choice of words. Who is captaining the adventure as the game master? Nailed it. So the last game that we ran, which was called Stasis, which was I think a 4 or 5 episode, 4-episode adventure, which you can find over on YouTube, was game mastered by our very own Mike Kilburn. 1/3 of three bikes, Mike. And this adventure, The Cutting Edge, is obviously being game mastered by Kath. So we have only had the 1 episode of this adventure so far, so it should be fairly easy to catch up on. You don't need to know a huge amount about Star Trek or these characters, although it would be nice. And we will try and make sure we give you a rundown of things and relationships as the game goes on. But there are some hardcore Trash fans that are in the chat at the moment who I'm sure we'll be able to answer any questions if we can't see what's going on. If you are a regular viewer of Trash programming during this game, the Star Trek Iskandar game, we will not be doing our usual system of helps and hinders, if only because I think that's very unfair to dump on someone who is not a Trash GM and doesn't run their games entirely based around the wild highs and lows that the Hinderkinder tend to bring. I, of course, when I GM this game, will be leaping full force into the snake's pit of helps and hinders because I'm insane. But that is a topic for another day. Thank you so much for being here to watch our show. And I'm going to hand over to our game master, Kath. Clearly said Mike. Got the word Mike on my brain now. I didn't mean our Mike. I just meant that your name was Mike, and we're all called Mike.
We're all Mike.
We're all
I'm
Mike. Inside.
I'm Mike now. Except for Emily, who, according to her chat, is Commodore McBiscuits.
Commodore Biscuit McBiscuits.
Commodore Biscuit McBiscuit.
That's just Commodore McBiscuits to you.
Oh, sorry, Commodore.
Wait, Commodore McBiscuits? No. Commodore McBiscuits was my father.
I'm not Commodore Biscuits.
I'm Commodore Biscuits McBiscuits Jr.
Anyway,
I'm
a
so
word
sorry.
I feel is going to be needed a lot.
We'll be less silly, I promise.
No, you won't.
No,
I will break this promise.
it's going to be one of those days.
It's always one of those days. Welcome to session 2 of The Cutting Edge. I got reactions out of that. I actually don't have a great deal to say because the best thing about this being a Star Trek game means that any recap, anything to remind anyone of what's going on, can be easily done in a nice, neat, in-character way as we begin this game of Star Trek Adventures with good old-fashioned Acting Captain's Log.
Yay!
Acting Captain's Log. Stardate 55694.52. Commander Talandra, making this log on behalf of the ship the USS Iskandar. Captain Athan, having gone ashore to attend a Starfleet strategy briefing, has left me in charge of the ship. Our current mission is a standard scanning and survey mission in the McPherson Nebula, one that we anticipated would be a simple procedure that would pass the time while we waited for Captain Athan's return. Alas, that was not to be, for we received a distress call from the stranded USS Antares, which turned out to have been assaulted by Nausicaan raiders. Of course, it was our duty to attend on the ship and ensure that they were safely brought back into spaceport. However, what had made matters worse was a team of specialists that were stowed on board the Antares. They had been, it seems, kidnapped by the raiders that attacked the ship and taken somewhere we know not. The USS Antares' mission was to transport these specialists to a starbase that appears on none of our charts, known as Prometheus Station. It is a high-security clearance location and appears on no record that I have access to. Nor did the USS Antares have any information beyond that they were to transport the specialists, which has made our job deeply unhelpful. What we do know is that these raiders, having taken the specialists and the executive officer of the USS Antares, have travelled into neutral space towards the Kefka system, and we must follow them or else risk losing the lives of officers and civilians of Starfleet and the potential secrets that those specialists contained. I have set the crew to ensuring our flight is quick and painless, and that the USS Antares is not left dead in the water. Ideally, this will be a simple search and rescue mission, although it is very easy to anticipate problems once we reach the raiders on the other side. It is certainly not an easy mission to be put in charge of. I am sure that were Captain Athan here, she would do a far greater job than I have done. However, as acting captain, it is my responsibility to protect the civilians and get the Iskandar back in one piece.
Okay. One thing which I should have put in that very well constructed set of reminder notes that I've given Izzy is that total of 19 crew from the USS Antares, including the first officer, Commander Baltros, were taken by the Nausicaans, plus the 4 specialists. In addition to the 4 specialists, they also had some sort of package, a case of not a particularly impressive size, but there had been some concern expressed by the captain of the USS Antares that too had been taken missing. I am going to assume that your business with the USS Antares is resolved. If there's anything else that you wish to do with them, ask of any of them, then jump at me right now. But if not, I believe that you had a trail to follow towards the Kefka system and to set off at a decent pace. And also that along the way, Ensign Cayce had been given a mission.
Yes. My mission is to locate patterns within any data that I can get my hands on that might isolate the location of the secret starbase. And so Casey's intention is to do just that. He's going to be grabbing as many, and this is where I might need some help. I need basically flight records, survey data, any indication of anyone going into that system, and I want to try and create almost a matrix of where ships have been and where ships haven't been.
Well, for starters, you don't even have a system. You have very little to go on. But that's okay, because this is time for me to use the thing I actually watched a YouTube video on to learn the extended task rules.
Yes.
It's a complicated system.
It's a complicated system. So this is going to be a magnitude 3 task, so you will require 3 breakthroughs in order to achieve it. You have... because you presumably want to find this information out before you get to the Kefka system.
Yes.
It has 8 intervals. I'm assuming here for the moment that Mike knows what to do to alter various different things with momentum, but we can also deal with that as and when we get to the moments.
Yes.
And because you are trying to look for actively hidden information and for the gaps in information, this does have a resistance of 2.
Okay.
I'm going to be allowing you a variety of different disciplines, depending on what approach you want and depending on if you have any assistance. And do you want to know the final work track number? Or in fact, yes, you should, because then you need to have some idea of...
that gets told in
the work track number is 17.
Okay.
17 work.
This is pretty rough, but you are trying to find something very, very difficult. So Casey probably is going to be wanting to be down in stellar cartography for this, to analyze and assess all sorts of information. Is he getting any other PC assistance.
I don't think at this stage. I think at this stage, Casey will be having a crack at it alone.
Okay. So, do you have any kind of particular ideas of how Casey is going to begin this, or do you want the ref to have done a certain amount of assumptions that Casey is a smart science boy?
I would like you to meet me halfway on smart science boy, please.
That's fine, because there's a relatively straightforward starting point that you can do in that you can assess the records that have been accessed of the USS Antares.
Mm-hmm.
You know that she's travelled from Earth, and that she is now in this region, which, assuming that she's not been going via a bizarre and roundabout route, infers she's heading in a certain direction, which infers certain southern regions of Federation space.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming a reasonably direct route, and the Promethean base is either in or near Federation territory. So there are certain calculations that you can make, or attempt to make off that, especially also as looking through some of the various public records and reports that are available, is that the Antares is also expected to report to Starbase 31 in 3 weeks, which is a bit of a distance away towards Klingon space. So that is going to make certain inference. So this is going to be some calculation, and I'm going to want a science, and this is going to be probably reason, because this is going to be science and reason.
That kind of makes sense because it's kind of a logic puzzle.
Difficulty 2, and you can get the ship's help if you wish to.
I would love the ship's help if you would be
I mean, I think you get the ship's help whether you want it or not.
The Iskandar will help you.
It looks like you're trying to spy. Would you like some help with that?
I'm here, Ensign, don't worry.
Making this attempt will cost you 2 of your 8 intervals. So essentially, you get 4 goes if you don't spend momentum to make this easier in any different way.
Okay.
Is this using sensors or computers? I'm guessing computers.
This would be computers because it's calculating.
Yeah. It was science. Yes.
Yes, science and reason.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's the ship's roll.
I have passed both of those rolls.
Cool. You
So
also get
that's
an extra
two-
one. You also get an extra success from the ship.
Dump that into the momentum because
Nice.
that could get real important because you're probably you might want to use some of your momentum eventually. So you roll your I noted this down. Your
So next you roll
2 plus
challenge
your
dice.
discipline in challenge dice for how much work damage.
That is
2 plus
nothing.
your science.
I have forgotten what the blank space is on the challenge dice.
Nothing. They mean
Nothing.
nothing.
I got 2 nothings, plus my science is 4.
No, you don't. Plus,
No,
you
that's
roll
the-
the number
Oh.
of science.
Forgive me.
You roll
Rolling
6.
a whole bucket of dice.
You're rolling 6 chance dice.
In that case,
7
I
or
get.
7 if your science is 5. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but he said 4.
Oh yeah, cool.
I've got
I'm
1 explosion and 2 explosions and 2 chevrons.
2 of. So that's 4 damage. I don't think effects particularly kick in that I could see anywhere for it.
I don't think they're relevant for this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check.
Okay.
No, it's just. Oh no, hang on. Effects from challenge dice normally don't apply. Can trigger any of the following if you have. Do you have any relevant benefits or?
Traits in the situation.
Yeah, there are some traits that are applicable to extended tasks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yes. Do you have any feats? There is a trait going around the situation, which is a complication, which is called classified data, which is probably more for making life difficult for you.
I am just looking at my talents now, but I don't think there's anything that's particularly relevant.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. This is a task, isn't it?
Yes.
No, that's
extended
fine.
task.
That doesn't apply till next time. Didn't spend any momentum, so we're good.
Well, you have opportunity to spend momentum. You can spend momentum to re-roll the challenge dice that you want to spend. You can spend momentum to gain +1 work, or you can spend momentum to remove 2 resistance.
It's
At
only
present-
For this particular task.
it's a resistance 2 task, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to
is, yes.
remove those resistance, please.
For this moment, okay.
Yeah, so that just ignores it for this task.
Yes.
His resistance will still be there next time.
Yeah.
So you have achieved 4 work in this interval. That does not acquire a breakthrough, but it is 4 work. Okay, so as you sit down and start crunching these numbers, etc., you start to cast a bit of a net of possible sectors which Antares could have been heading to and could reasonably get to, as and to also be at Starbase 31 in 3 weeks. This is all heading into very broad guesswork with cruising speed, high warp, etc., but you have a net at this point.
He's basically doing a really hard Sudoku, and he's writing the bits in pencil.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a 4, or an 8, or a 9.
You don't write the numbers in the corners if you've got 3 options.
All right, Sudoku nerd.
Casey will kind of frown at the console as he's input this data and begun to kind of, as you say, it's the casting of the net at this stage. There's nothing in particular that he's gleaned from this, but I imagine just the capacity of beginning this is quite exciting for him. He quite enjoys this as a challenge. He's a little intimidated by the risk that it poses, as this is a secret base that he's uncovering, and so there's a concern there for what that will do should he be caught or should something go wrong. But starting to spool through this data and starting to kind of, even doing the incorrect things just starts to make him quite excited. Where possible, he's going to start, keep this running in whatever lab he's in right now, and then try and make it portable on the pad so that he can continue his operations around the ship and continue working at this data remotely.
I realised I was very kind to you. I should have made that a con-based challenge, not a science-based. But, oh well, I've been nice to you. That's the problem with Star Trek. Science does everything if you science it hard enough.
It does.
Fine, conquer
Science
the
track.
next parts of the task.
Yeah, Casey is now going to be starting to find himself at a bit of a crossroads of where to go next, unless Mike wants to start poking up with ideas, because other sources that he's got is that it is relevant to this specialist team. That's the only other particular clue that he's got, that they were headed there.
In that case, knowing that Strange commanded this operation, he will need to get in touch with Strange.
You can...
Okay.
Casey to Strange.
Strange here, go ahead.
Lieutenant, I'm working on a bit of a problem right now, and I'm wondering if you can lend me some information. Do you know anything about the details of the specialist team that were taken?
No, everybody that was on the Antares was really, I guess, cagey, or they just didn't know anything about the specialist team.
I find it very difficult to believe that they would know nothing about a team that they were transporting.
This is why I think they were just being cagey about it and weren't willing to say what was going on.
We have one of them on the ship still, do we not?
No, my understanding is that they've all gone.
Ref clarification, you did rescue one of the Antares' crew, who I'm assuming you returned because he just needed medical assistance, that petty officer. And that was just one...
Going, they've all gone! They're all dead, probably!
Also, no one's even asked the computer records. I'm just pointing that out.
Does that?
Very well. If you know nothing further, then I will leave you to your business. Thank you, Lieutenant.
No problem.
And then I will Google it.
Okay.
Ask Google.
Like, well, it's actually fairly reassuring. They are Starfleet officers who have Starfleet records. Like, they're not mystery people.
Not total non-entities.
Yeah, they're not
Mystery men.
mystery men. They're not a team of mystery men. In fact, I suppose I should now give you the full set of names. You have Commander Robert Loxley.
Just like the notes say.
Lieutenant Thudrave, an Andorian.
Yep.
A Lieutenant Weber. And a Lieutenant Novak.
Looking at their records, is there any commonality in their service? Any denoted specializations that would link them together?
The main thing which links them together is that they are all veterans of the Dominion War and all served together on board the USS Exeter. It was a highly decorated starship. It saw a lot of the major engagements of the conflict. The CO, Captain Telerock, was one of the foremost combat commanders in Starfleet at the time. The Exeter was destroyed in one of the final skirmishes attempting to harry the retreating Dominion forces when they were pulling back their borders right before the final Battle of Cardassia. A Jem'Hadar ship conducted a suicide run, and only 9 of the 700 crew of the Exeter survived, of which 4 are your team, and the other 5 retired from Starfleet on medical and psychological grounds.
As mentioned, I imagine Casey has this information in his pad now and is kind of moving about the ship. The moment he reads about the Jem'Hadar suicide, that will... Like, he'll be distracted enough to probably bump into someone and kind of mutter an apology.
Mm-hmm.
He lowers the pad a little, exhales, then raises it back up and just focuses once again on the data. What was the Exeter's... outside of service of the Dominion, what was the Exeter's mission? Service in the Dominion War, what was its mission?
She was a Nebula class, so it was a good all-round... one of the great workhorses of the 24th century. And so the problem with about the 5 years of the Dominion War and prior to is that there was a lot of conflict. There was also the Klingon Federation War. There was the Battle of Sector 001 with the Borg conflict. So there was a lot of military operations going on at that point, which the Exeter was all involved in. And before that, she was an exploration and diplomatic ship.
Hmm.
Reading on, the 4 officers remained together as strategic advisors on the developing post-war situation under Admiral Ross.
And what's Admiral Ross about?
Admiral Ross is a character from Deep Space Nine. He's the Admiral dude.
Oh, okay.
He was technically, I think he was technically like Supreme Commander of Allied Forces. I think he was like the Eisenhower of the Dominion War.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish to carry on analyzing some information, that can be done, although his personnel records, the kind of thing that Casey's... what discipline am I going to give you for analyzing personnel records, etc., etc.?
If I don't have great command.
Discipline, I kind of want to say command.
Yeah, I'm inclined to say another... I don't want to dump reason with everything, but I just feel like it's going to be reason, because it's not... Insight is more actually in your face, so it should be a reason and command.
Insight's more light bulb moments rather than analytical, do the logic.
Mm-hmm. So that's down to you on how you want to handle this.
No, he will recognize that not being his specialty.
Also, I will stress, whilst I have a breadcrumb trail for you, if you have random insights of other angles, I'm all ears.
Oh no, I need a little bit of momentum before I can start coming up with insights at this stage. But with that data,
well, we have one in the pool.
We
Yeah.
do.
Sorry.
But also, you might,
I'm just making terrible puns, don't mind me.
from a system perspective, that could be very useful in you actually succeeding at the entire thing.
I think that too.
Okay. I'll give it a go at that case.
Okay, Solo?
No. This is going to require the expertise of my dear mentor.
Okay,
So
go.
I'm going to attend upon Commander Talandra. I imagine, like,
Posing.
I imagine for like knowing that she's on the bridge, Casey will just head right up there rather than coming. And so he enters the bridge, kind of hurried with his pad in his hands, and says, "Commander, I could do with some assistance."
Very well, Ensign. My ready room.
Very well. He marches on in there.
Lieutenant Cantos, you have the con.
Commander?
Once within the room, he kind of sets the pad down so she can see it. I've begun the investigation into the team and where this starbase might be. I've been able to isolate the team. They all served on the USS Iskandar, and I've got the names of 4 of them: Commander Loxley, 3 others. There's an element to this pattern that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get alone. This turns into service records, and it's not my area of expertise. I would greatly appreciate your assistance in it.
Very well, Ensign. I shall accompany you to Astrometrics.
I'm assuming this entire extended task is one exciting montage scene of
That would be swell.
"You can't help me, Strange. Fuck you, Talandra. You can help me."
You're no good, Strange. I'm getting mom.
Okay, yeah, you can head down to Astrometrics and start. You've got, especially now that you've got the net that Casey has cast for what sort of area to start worrying about, and kind of a bit of a time window as well. So I'm going to make this a that's reason plus command. Casey can actually, technically speaking, can I? Yeah, you can swap tasks. There's a load of you. I'm allowing it anyway. So from Talandra, it will be a reason and command. Casey can assist. I am actually going to allow a science roll for reasons which might become apparent as you start to do the research.
I apparently have a command collaboration talent. I don't know what it does.
What's the talent called?
It's called collaboration command.
Fair.
I did not write my own character sheet. This is my great shame. I don't understand this system.
Oh, that's whenever an ally attempts a task using that discipline, and you can spend momentum, but he's not using command. But it's good to know. Now we know.
And also, he's technically not the one attempting the
Yeah.
test.
Oh, will you both be quiet?
But now we know a thing.
One more roll.
You're going to be rolling your 2 dice, and it's going to be for your reason and command. Casey can assist with. I'm going to allow reason and science so you get to roll that 1 dice.
Okay.
What's the ship doing? Are you using the ship?
Yeah, I use the ship. Computers
What
again.
does the focus in team dynamics get me? Working in a team is what I'm all about.
Yeah, I'll allow it. So that means that any successes you get count double.
Sick.
No, not
Nope.
quite. Any successes where what you roll is below your discipline,
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
they count.
Yes. Good catch.
It basically increases the critical range from.
I only pretend not to understand the system, so then we explain it, so then the audience learn about the system.
Don't learn the system from our game, guys. There are some really good YouTube videos.
Hey!
What do you want the ship to roll? Computers? Do you want the ship rolling command or science?
Computers command. So Casey
the ship
rolled.
only just past that.
I have rolled 1 success. However,
Did you roll 2 dice?
No, I rolled 1.
Yep. Cool.
However, I have a talent called testing a theory. which is when I attempt a task using engineering or science, I may
You
roll
are
an
not the one
additional
attempting the task,
d20.
you're an assistant.
Sorry?
You're an assistant, not the person attempting the task.
Oh, yeah, then ignore that.
Also, it
But for
yeah.
future tasks.
Yeah, but yes. Apologies.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works anyway.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that.
Also, I wouldn't say this counts as technically in the same field
Okay.
as something you've previously done. Sorry, so how many successes is that?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
On the number is a success, right?
Correct.
Yes.
In
And
which case,
one from me?
magically, I was on the number twice, so that's 3 successes.
How's that?
Hang on. How are you. What?
Because one of them was a 15, which
Yep.
is, and one of them was a 5, which is under
Oh.
my discipline.
So,
Which is equal
Oh,
to.
the 5. Oh, sorry. I
Got
see.
it.
I think we thought you meant you got 15 and 15.
No, as in I was
like,
on one of
hang
the
on a
numbers,
minute.
and I was on the other number, the lower
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's cool.
So that's 3,
So
4,
you got
5.
we've got 5 successes in total because everything succeeded.
So it was base difficulty of 2. Still.
3 momentum!
Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
We just
Yep.
have 3 momentum. We can
3
smash
momentum.
The shops.
Okay. Bum bum bum.
Momentum does.
So then, where's my? I've lost my particular useful cheat sheet thing. Right.
Wait, you're cheating.
Then
Cheat.
please roll for me, Izzy,
Okay.
to figure out how much work you do on your challenge dice. The number of challenge dice which equals your command score plus 4. Plus 2. Sorry.
What's a command dice?
the
It's your
D6s.
challenge dice.
So these things. Roll 2 of these plus.
Do you
more of these
have any of
equal to
those? Is
your-
I do. They're in my living room somewhere.
Okay.
We have D6.
Mike, run. What's your command score, Izzy? 5?
Yes.
Okay, roll me 7
7 dice.
challenge dice, please, Mike.
Okay. 3 chevrons, 1 explosion, and that's it.
So that's
So that's
4,
4 work.
4 damage. Yet again, it still has a resistance of 2. So that's a
So
total of...
That comes down to 2 then.
Can we spend momentum on more
Unless
damage?
you want to spend momentum to reduce the resistance.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, I do.
or you have relevant looking talents and other nonsense.
What about values?
Values are only. So there's a thing called determination. You currently have, if I remember rightly, 3 of those. It's somewhere in the notes. You can spend determination. It's like super momentum, but you can only spend it if whatever you're doing is relevant to one of your values.
I don't care anymore.
It's probably not relevant. It tends to be for like big dramatic stuff.
Just do what you got to do, and
Shall we spend a momentum to
Don't,
get
it's
rid of the
not.
resistance?
You could also
Yes.
spend momentum multiple times if you wanted to. You could spend it to remove the resistance and to reroll some dice.
The other thing, yeah.
Like, you
roll
could-
the dice.
Like how you've only got like 4 successes out of... Like, you've got 3 blank dice there then?
Yeah,
There
I'll
are,
go.
there are 3 black dice, and any of those could
Could spend a momentum to reroll those blank dice.
Let's do that.
yeah,
Um,
why not?
So you'd spend 2 momentum in that case.
Holy
Make it
shit!
happen.
Yeah?
Boy, I wish chevrons did something. I just got 3 more.
No, chevrons do.
Oh, cool.
Chevrons are,
Still count as 1.
yeah, they still count as 1.
So that's
It's just they are
3 more.
1 plus potentially.
Cool. So that's a
Another
total of
thing.
7. So that's a total of 7, and you're removing the resistance.
All of it.
Yes.
So again, so that is plus 7, which
Calandra's here.
So that
I
is
think
a breakthrough.
yes. So that brings your work track up to 11 out of 17, with more pressingly 1 breakthrough.
Which also drops the resistance for future tasks.
Mm-hmm.
All it took was Calandra and a cup of tea.
Okay. You start to look at the records of Loxley and the team, and mostly the shit that they've been doing while working for for Admiral Ross, related to Federation strategy and weapons development in the 2 years since the Dominion War. This has connected them with multiple figures in weapons engineering and game theory in recent years, many of whom move in similar circles because you're talking about the same kind of echelons of intelligence, academia, and those who work closely with Starfleet. Insofar as the 2 of you can access their agendas, and looking at now that you have a net and looking at the area, you find some discrepancies in that about a dozen officials and experts, including Commander Loxley and Lieutenant Weber, were all in the Komali sector 11 months ago. This is a bit strange because nobody's itinerary quite it stands up to close scrutiny. Like, someone didn't have some booked accommodation. Someone was there, but they had no obvious assignments and they weren't on a leave of absence. And this was all within the same fortnight. So you have a sector now.
You can see them drawing lines and all sorts.
Yeah, like they've got
Have
each
you
of the
in fact got
personnel
a pin
files up.
and, like, string?
No, they're not animals. I don't share humanity's weird fascination with the 20th century.
I think it should definitely be Talandra that spots this, like, mostly because it was her task, but I also like the idea of Cayce being a little frantic in this, and so he's kind of being a bit like scrolling through data, frowning, making notes on his pad, and I like the idea of the contrast to the Vulcan method.
Clearly what happens is he's sat at the desk, and it looks like he's the calmer one, because he's sat there surrounded by stuff, and he's like... And she's kind of walking around the room to various consoles and things she needs to look at. But then she just comes straight over to him and just pops a pad down in front of him and then just goes... I think these three are our most likely opportunities. This is interesting.
There's a promise with this Komali sector. A lot of this doesn't make sense. Why? They have no single motive for being there.
Indeed, Ensign.
That means we have a sector. That means everything can start to be narrowed down to that sector. We're on it. Thank you, Commander.
Thank you, Ensign.
I will take up no more of your time.
Summon me if you need any more assistance.
Of course. Thank you.
And she picks up her tea that's now cold and heads out the door.
That's the most illogical thing she's ever done. Let her tea go.
Cool. Well, joke's on you.
He does like
It's iced tea.
She drinks her coffee hot and her tea cold.
he does like a little fist pump and then starts going through that data.
Mm-hmm.
And she's silhouetted in the doorway and just like goes...
I'm going to be saying essentially these intervals are all representing a day each of work, and you've got 4 days to get to the Kafka system, because time and travel in Star Trek gets shitty if you start thinking you go around at warp 9.99 forever and you get somewhere in 2 hours. I don't care. It's taken you 4 days.
Yeah, I never want to have to do the maths. I just want to know how long it'll take.
Yeah. Oh, of course I forgot.
I tried that once, and it's a terrible idea, and means that the warp scale just makes no fucking sense.
Because there'll be one person you go, make sure you get there soon, Ensign. Warp 7. We'll get there in 2 hours, Captain. And someone goes, actually, at Warp 7, they'd be there in 37 minutes. Not true. I hate you.
Warp is dramatic travel power, and you are hitting dramatic travel power of 4 days.
Yeah, that is basically how the warp scale works, because if you
We
try
pretend
to
it's
reference
science.
from episodes, there is no consistency.
They're lying. I'm showing what kind of
It's
Trek fan I
magic.
am.
Which means we have 4 days of fun and frolics.
Yeah, fun and frolics.
Fantastic.
Okay, so if Cayce hot on the trail and has the Komali sector, so that narrows things down for finding if there's anything fucking weird or gaps, etc. in the records within the area. I'm figuring is something he's going to worry about now.
Yep.
So I'm going to allow him to just sort of go through all sorts of things, looking for weird discrepancies of local records, shipping, transport, travel, etc., etc. I'm still going to have to let you use... No, I'm going to say this needs security, because right now you're doing a bit of gumshoeing, frankly. This is a security and reason check to start doing this kind of gumshoe shit.
Oh no.
Again, unless you want to make different arguments to me, but with my arbitrary rulership of the extended task
No,
system.
I'm thrilled with your with this as a thing, because I think now, if it's turning into a more security matter, I could probably do with the assistance of Lieutenant Atticus Vance.
Yes!
I suppose it's that, or you sock puppet talk to yourself.
Yes,
Really.
and watch me avoid that for as long as I can.
You shouldn't. It's lots of fun. Borov intends to invite
I think you'll
Talandra.
find Vance is unavailable.
Also, are
I
we
guess you
between
got
scenes
that.
now? Have we lost the momentum?
No, I'm keeping this as one big scene for dramatic purposes.
So it's
Montage!
like astrometric still.
Mhm.
The date, it's like a few hours later or something. The data's all kind of being isolated around the Kamali sector, and it's just like it's cut from him being like, we've got it, to just like poring over pads again, looking fraught
like-
again.
Oh, we don't got it.
Sectors are so big.
Okay, I'll assume he will ask Vance to come down for some
Yes.
assistance. Vance will come in. He'll have his cup of coffee, and watch Kath do a little bit of throat wobbling first. What can I do for you? That was terrible.
Lean into it.
Ensign, what is it? Anything I can do for you?
Lieutenant, I could do with a fresh set of eyes on a bit of a project that I'm working on.
Yeah, it's looking like you've got your hands full down here.
Yes, and unfortunately it's a task a little too great for me at this stage. I could do with someone with a bit more experience in terms of, well, your expertise in... I'm trying to locate a pattern within this data that might suggest a location within this sector. However, the data that I have is predominantly to do with areas more involved with security. And so I wonder if you could assist me.
You're trying to track something, then.
Yes, Lieutenant.
All right. Let's see what we can rustle up out of all of this.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
I'm seeing very obviously, if you're looking for a location, then it's going to need supplies, support, logistics, anything like that. It's going to have needed construction. So, once upon a time, the phrase would have been "you follow the money," but I'm going to be reckoning that we just follow the gear.
I hadn't even thought about construction. Yes, if we could continue around that route, that would be phenomenal.
As some sort of base is going to require large amounts of material transported. If we don't have a date, that's going to be a little bit difficult, but we can start to do it. And it's difficult to move something like that without anyone noticing it.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Okay, Vance is going to attempt a... his reason is garbage.
That's
A
fine.
reason and security
He's pretty but dumb.
check. He has no use for...
That's and punch good.
Yeah, literally can punch as hard as a phaser on average.
Paris would have been pretty good.
Tough. You've got Vance. You can assist with other fucking science, because really actually the most useful assistance here would be engineering, unless you want to make some other argument for something else, because you're looking at material and shit. So like, what physical stuff would be useful?
No,
You looked at me with
How would you build a space station?
yeah.
I will take the risk on engineering.
Okay.
I'll
And the
do-
ship
Sorry, yes.
and the ship can help again with computers and
Yeah, I'm going to say computer security on this case.
yes,
Because
yeah,
the
checking.
ship isn't working out what you'd need for
no.
thing. It's just going, here's some data.
Okay, so Vance still needs a 13 or below. He makes it. He's making up for being a garbage boy the 2 weeks ago.
The handsome garbage boy, though.
Cool. The fact that you've got some successes means our successes also count.
And
Yay!
They don't count otherwise.
I very, very nearly failed, but it's a success.
Hey, add that
The
onto
ship
the
also
momentum. So that's 2 more momentum.
Whoop.
Um,
We need to spend that.
should have declared this ahead of time, but I'm doing it to myself, so it doesn't particularly matter. This is actually, in fact, actually only add 1 momentum, because I meant to do this, because this would have raised the base difficulty to 3 because of the classified data trait around the situation. So you only get 1 momentum for that, as we are explicitly now poking into some weird shit. The good news is that because this is based off the discipline, not the attribute, Vance gets all 7 dice to roll for damage. Ooh, that's not bad at all. Vance makes 10.
Nice.
Fuck.
I rolled 7 dice, and he did not get a single zilch, and got 3 2s.
Atticus fans.
Work.
Yeah.
Most eligible
Literally,
officer on the whole ship.
Which I'm not going to make this decision. Whilst it will get you another, it'll get you another breakthrough. You can go attempt your last interval, or if you spend momentum on basically anything to increase the work, you will complete the work track and get your final breakthrough.
Let's do that.
Let's just do that. Okay. All right. You work with Vance on all of this until he eventually looks around and goes, all right, I'm looking at, there are some records from the late 2350s, some missing material. It was apparently shipped for rebuilding projects supporting Federation colonies attacked in the Talarian conflict. Now, all of those freighters shipping all of these equipment should have been down in the Castel sector, except there was one out in the Kamali sector, which makes no sense. It's in the wrong direction, in the wrong area. This triggered an internal investigation. This investigation quickly deemed there was nothing but a minor clerical error, and yet I can see no record of this particular freighter ending up anywhere. But it is narrowing down of which area of space it was headed to when it was stopped at that starbase. As Cayce further examines what he's been going through, this connects up with some of the records he's been plying through of navigational charts, etc., of 2 seemingly minor records, but once Vance is pointing him in the right location. One is a formal complaint from a civilian freighter in the region 9 years ago, which fell foul of an ion storm and needed to make some major navigational changes, only to be instructed by a patrolling Starfleet runabout to make a huge deviation to avoid a particular region. The civilian complaint was grounded in there being no reason given for this massive inconvenience. Nothing happened. This complaint was not actioned. More tellingly, a survey mission headed for beyond Federation border 15 months ago reported in a very particular area in the vicinity of 2 uninhabited star systems, strange readings including extremely high neutrino emissions and intermittent graviton fluxes. Also, never actioned by Starfleet Command.
Why, Lieutenant Vance, you have nearly cracked it.
So, what is this place?
That we are trying to find out. These are instructions that were given to me by the commander, so there's only so far I'm at liberty to go into at this stage.
Yeah, considering that I've been seeing things and looking at records which are marked classified everywhere. We're not actually going through any of those black marks, are we, Ensign?
If we want to try and find our missing people from the Antares, then we have to.
You're not missing people. Do you think they might be in the Kamali system? If the Nausicaans abducted them and then took them to a classified Starfleet location? Look, I understand that we need to look at all possible avenues, but maybe this is just my training. My training makes me worry about the Kefka system instead.
I appreciate your concern, but I have been given a directive.
Uh-huh. All right. All right, Ensign. Well, hopefully this is a good reminder that not everything can be done just in an astrometrics lab.
No. Thank you, Lieutenant. Sincerely, thank you.
Of course, Ensign. I'll be heading back to the bridge now.
And he kind of sits like and waits. And the moment he's gone, he's like grabbing pad, running, and running down the corridor. He will calm Talandra. Commander.
Talandra here, go ahead.
I have it. I think we have it. We have it limited to 2 star systems.
Meet me in my ready room.
Yes. Go dashing in, set down the pads, and he's mid-spiel already as he comes in the door.
Talandra very subtly puts up a security field. Just in case he goes, I've solved it. I've figured out how we can get to hyperspace. I'm like... There's every chance with Casey that he'll have 0 chill and just blurt out a billion secrets he's found out.
Like the moment he's coming through the door, he'll be saying anomalies. It was anomalies in neutrino and fluctuations in graviton fields between 2 star systems. Combine that with a civilian complaint. It's old, but 15 months ago brought us onto the trail of a survey mission. It's here. It's got to be here. Commander, I think this is it.
Good work, Ensign. You may leave your findings and go off duty.
Thank you. Thank you. And he does. He walks out.
And Talandra will...
Eyebrows from Kantos.
Talandra will bundle her notes together and she'll relieve Alpha Shift. And
Okay.
the bridge will change and she'll sit on the bridge reading and being captain. So Kantos gets to go and have chill time.
Kantos can have chill time. I can't believe I bothered giving all those breadcrumbs for a complete side-indulgent research gig.
Because it's important to us.
It's important to you, and it's taken the first 45 minutes of the game.
And now we're going to go all have lunch. Officers' lunch.
Okay, you've got about a day left, or to be fair, for everyone who's not Casey, you had the 4 days of if you wanted to worry about anything. But other than that, I'm going to end the scene. Well, either way, I'm ending a scene.
Mm-hmm.
The question is if anyone wants a scene on the Iskandar, or if we move to a scene also on the Iskandar bridge upon arrival at the Kefka system.
I don't think I want a scene.
You've just had a...
It says, Captain, I am all the scenes, all of them.
I feel like something should happen to Strange. But I don't know what.
I've given up being responsible for making things happen to Strange.
Do Vance or Strange have any spin-offs from there helping Casey with the task?
Vance will probably find a relatively quiet moment on the bridge when Talandra is there and there aren't really many people to do, particularly over here. He will have some sort of innocuous pad of routine shit to hand over to her, because you do that in Star Trek rather than just Bluetoothing everything around.
It's not safe. It's not safe to Bluetooth. That could be hacked.
Yeah. Commander, assuming Ensign Cayce brought all of his findings to you.
Lieutenant.
Simply wondering if, as Chief of Security, there's anything about which I should have concern on any of our investigations.
Nothing you need concern yourself with, Lieutenant. We will proceed to the Kefka system as planned.
Very good, Commander.
It may well be that when we are there, there will be an amount of combat. I will do everything in my power to avoid that situation occurring.
No, I'm expecting possible trouble, but that's the kind of trouble I think we can handle. Thank you, Commander.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
He leaves. He looks pretty chilled by that response.
Talandra goes back to reading
Vulcan has got this.
Also, I've done my duty.
Just checking we're not about to do anything crazy reckless. No. Cool.
We're not doing anything illegal, right? Because I might be a little down for that, but
But only a little bit.
But only if
wouldn't
it's a heroic kind of illegal, but Starfleet captains do.
Yeah.
It's not the rules. We're going back for them. And he's like, yeah, hell yeah.
fuck yeah.
We'll go back for all of them. I don't know who they are.
Okay. At the end of the 4 days, unless Strange wants to bounce in.
I don't think I want anything for either of my characters to bounce in on.
Oh, yes, of course.
How is Strange? How's Strange doing? What's Strange doing at the moment? I care about Strange.
Okay, what is
You care
Strange
about
doing?
Strange.
Strange has 4 days.
Strange has 4 days, and Strange still has an absolute wreck of an engineering area because of not getting the bloody resources back on Starbase. What was it, 214 or whatever it was that we started off the episode in. So he's probably, still occasionally swearing slightly at things that aren't working.
I know.
Oh no.
I should give you space to do free roleplay. You roleplay.
It's important for character and such.
No. Go on.
Medical to Lieutenant Strange.
Strange here, go ahead. Can I help you, Doctor?
Hello, Dr. Strange. Lieutenant Strange. I am Dr. Strange. No, that was only if we got married. That's all non-diegetic. Hello, Lieutenant. I was wondering if you could see your way to pop to medical when you are off shift later.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
A short while later, Strange is off shift and comes into sick bay.
Dr. Burov is in their little office, which is very neat and ordered. It has a plant in it.
Strange will go up his head around the corner and say, "You wanted to see me, Doctor?"
Do sit, Lieutenant. It's Adam, right?
Yes.
It just occurred to me. We've been in flight for some time now.
Mm-hmm.
And with us still being between counselors after the last counselor left under such inauspicious circumstances, it seems to me that you have nobody to talk about your problems with. I'm not saying that you do have problems, you understand. Only that currently, as a very new chief of engineering, you have been put in a very complicated situation. And I wanted to know how well you were taking to your new role.
Yeah, no, everything's, people have settled into, the change of command downstairs.
Would you like some tea?
No, thanks.
Well, I'm having some. It seems to me, Adam, that you have been a little more distracted than you were as simply a second to Lieutenant Cooper. We all know that Lieutenant Anderson. Who am I thinking of?
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson.
We haven't had a Lieutenant Cooper at all.
We should have Lieutenant Anderson Cooper. Lieutenant Anderson was very popular. We all liked her a great deal. She was a friend. Cannot be easy for you to take over such a role in such a well-oiled machine as the Iskandar.
Well, as you say, the Iskandar is a well-oiled machine. It's quite easy to slot into the role, really.
And yet I have heard from the little birds down in engineering that things are not going smoothly since our last resupply.
That's more a problem with the actual resupply itself. Didn't quite get everything we needed from Starbase 214 in order to get everything patched up and running. So we're going to watch things around, make do with what we can.
I know that if I did not have all the medical supplies aboard ship that I wanted, I would be a very stressed chief medical officer.
We've got a good team downstairs, engineering, so we can work around it. It's just making things a little more busy than we would otherwise like them to be when we're just off in flight for 4 days.
So, Of course, engineering are going to be pulling together around you. How have you found dealing with the other officers? You, I believe, were not on the officer course. You were
No.
had not trained to be a chief engineer.
No, I haven't. So it's taken a bit of adjusting to get used to actually being in a command role, if you like. But yeah, there's a lot that I learned from Lieutenant Anderson.
You know, Captain Athan can sometimes be a little bit less hands-on as a captain. Do you think that suits your leadership style? Or do you feel a little isolated?
I don't feel isolated. Engineering, possibly more so than other bits of the ship. It's quite easy to just be left to your own devices and crack on.
Okay. It's important to know that you are not isolated, regardless of engineering's position in the rest of the ship. Engineering and medical have much in common when it comes to feeling like we are separate but whole. And I know what it is not to fully integrate with the officer class of the ship. I just wanted you to know that you're doing a very good job. But if you struggle, if you feel you struggle in any way, you must come back to medical. It is my job at the moment. And I am a trained psychoanalyst. And if ever you just want some tea and quiet, you are welcome to it.
Thank you, Arcady.
It's no trouble, Adam. Also, Adina and I sometimes get dinner on weekends and talk about other members of crew and who we think they are dating. If you wish to come and join us, you're quite welcome.
I'll bear that in mind. Thank you for the offer.
Of course, it was meant in friendship.
And strangely, yeah. At that point, like, nope. Right, okay, this that's enough human contact for one day. Nope.
I don't want to join your sexy gossip team.
Dear Mum, I was invited to join a wine and bitching circle. Help!
Help! How do I talk about these things?
Does one wear a tie?
Okay, so cut to the bridge of the USS Iskandar, in which every single major character can be on the bridge in that way that the chief engineer is hanging out in that little shame pocket at the side of an Intrepid bridge. Because that's where he is.
And Dr. Burov is leaning against a console for some reason.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. You don't even get a chair as on an Intrepid class.
Actually, now I think about it, the Doctor will probably sit in the first officer
Oh, yeah,
chair,
of course, yeah.
because even though Kantos is now technically first officer,
Yeah,
obviously they are flying the ship.
they're busy flying the ship. So
They'll sometimes be like, Crusher, why are you there? Fuck off.
Stop fucking hanging out here.
Want to be lonely.
The Iskandar drops out of warp. Immediately, sensors and the view screen will light up with showing that you have one major inhabited planet on the Kefka system. It is known that there is a Federation consulate there, even though this is neutral space. More pressing is at the outskirts of the system, sort of to clearly catch or be close to any incoming traffic, is a large space station. It looks like a bit of a hodgepodge mess of probably originated as some fairly standard human design. Since then, there's clearly some Talarian tech in there. Various old freighters have been like welded onto it to expand and create it into a bit of a junker space station. And there is definitely local traffic. All of your sensors are indicating no obvious signatures of any other government presences. It's all kind of independent on your IFF. And you're closer to this big station. There is the inhabited planet of Kefka 4. And pretty much while this is kind of being reported and you're all processing what you see, it's going to have to be Vance who notices this, is going to look up and go, Commander, we are being approached by 4 small raiders. Their shields are up, their weapons are not charged, and we're being hailed. They do not appear to have any obvious affiliation from that they're transmitting. He puts on screen, and on screen you get, with a murky metallic background, a human male, a bit disheveled, kind of early 40s, slightly pointy kind of face, wearing rough civvies. My name is Jefferson Carrick on behalf of the Orion Syndicate, and we've got Starfleet coming into our space, our nice, quiet space. Please do everyone a nice, calm favor and identify yourselves.
My name is Commander Talandra of the USS Iskandar. Forgive me, Jefferson Carrick. I do not believe that this space is under any jurisdiction. You have broken your treaties by being here.
No, you haven't. And that's, frankly, the way I'd really rather keep this situation. You know, it makes a lot of people nervous when a big Starfleet ship comes wandering into this region and you don't have the authority to start blowing people up, grabbing people, telling people off the laws that they may or may, which don't apply here anyway. So, really, I would recommend that you turn around and go away. I appreciate that doesn't usually go down very well with Starfleet.
Mr. Carrick, we mean no intimidation by our presence. I have not come to scold you for any perceived breaking of Starfleet laws. You are not in Starfleet, and I have no jurisdiction to punish you. We are simply here on the trail of some members of Starfleet who have become missing.
Missing?
Once we locate them, we'll be happy to vacate your space peacefully and quietly.
No Starfleet ship's been coming here for... I mean, I don't know how far back you're going, but I've been here a few weeks. No Starfleet ships have come here.
Unfortunately, the crew we are looking for were not on a Starfleet vessel.
You're going to be watched while you're here. That's going to be a simple truth of it. Don't think anyone's going to start anything with Starfleet, but if you start something, a lot of people are going to find themselves not wanting to be on your side.
For the record, Mr. Carrick, should we find the vessel that took our crew, we will have no intention of, as you say, starting anything. All we want is our crew back.
Abductions.
That is what it appears to be, Mr. Carrick.
Can Talandra make me a command and presence check? Difficulty 1.
Give it a darn skippy good go, and I'm going to take a look at my things. I have a focus in diplomacy and composure.
Diplomacy is more what he cares about.
Fine. What does that mean?
If you roll under 5, that counts as 2 successes.
Cool. 2 dice?
Yep.
What was it? Presence command?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey! Hey, once again, it's the Talandra special. I rolled 1 success and then 1 that's under my presence. So
that's 3.
Perfect.
So
Is it under your command? It's not under
oh, right.
the other one.
Dang. Just 2 successes then.
And
Thanks for keeping me honest.
Add 1 to the momentum pile, please. Carrick kind of frowns at this. I have no interest in bringing down angry Starfleet ships. You know, that's bad for everyone's business. That's bad for everyone's quiet. So, you know, if you find people nicely, quickly, efficiently, then you'll be gone without causing much complaint. That's what I'm hearing.
That is what I am saying, Mr. Carrick.
Even better, even better. Do you have any idea who's taken them?
Talandra is going to get her pad and pass the information. We didn't have any name on the ship.
No, but a trio of Nausicaan raiders and a timestamp.
Yeah, a trio of Nausicaan raiding vessels that will have passed through this way between dates.
The Nausicaan ships. Useless lot. They're still here. They're at Anchorage, the big ugly station. They're still here. They're probably going to be trying to sell people as slaves, which is not really my preferred area of business. But they'll have friends there. It would do you good to have friends where you're going.
What would you recommend, Mr. Carrick?
Well, I suppose that depends on if you want my help, Iskandar.
It seems to me, Mr. Carrick, that what you wish is for a quick, quiet, and most importantly, subtle end to these perceived hostilities. I am sure that our vessel very quickly, even quietly, docking at this station would cause rather more fuss than you would like.
Sure. Now, you're not going to be able to board Anchorage for free, but you can beam on board for cheap, probably, if you talk to the right people. And that's not my people. That's nothing to do with me. And if you want to move around, get some people moving around incognito, not ruffling the wrong feathers, then I can meet some of your people on Anchorage, if that's what you'd like. So we can all be out of each other's hair, nice and smooth.
I understand that such things come at a price, Mr. Carrick.
For the moment, let's say my price is peace and quiet. I'll be blunter. I'm not going to want anything from you. But if you mess up some Nausicaans, there might be a little something left over for me.
While
I have no interest in slaves. Not my thing.
While we are not mercenaries, I understand that our needs are somewhat aligned. Mike, mute your damn mic. I understand that our needs are somewhat aligned.
Good. You'll have a little bit of fun with the Keymaster on Anchorage. Tal, I recommend you take a quick look at what resources you've got, what's going to dazzle a Ferengi. But you beam on board, you'll be a bit more alone out there. You'll be a little bit less alone with me, and I can meet you at boarding on Anchorage.
Very well, Mr. Carrick. Until then.
Carrick out. Kills the view screen.
Lieutenant Strange.
Strange here, go ahead. Oh wait, no, Strange is on the right.
He's right there.
I just assume that he's in interviews all the time.
I'm hiding.
Yeah?
Stranger!
pokes his head out of the shade corner.
Do you have any
Commander?
experience dealing with the Ferengi?
Ferengi? Not really, but probably something we could knock together from what we've got that could, as your man Kedek says, dazzle them. If that's what they're into.
No weapons, Lieutenant Strange.
Wasn't thinking weapons.
See what you can do.
Commander.
Lieutenant Kantos, Lieutenant Vance, in my ready room.
I Commander.
Pile on in.
It seems it must be an away mission.
That it definitely
Looks
does.
like it.
Starfleet regulation and my better instincts indicate that we should take a well-armed security detail. However, if the intention is subtlety, I'm not certain how best that can be achieved by a lot of very well-armed and equipped Starfleet ensigns.
My instincts do say that sending in half a dozen sending in half a dozen of my officers with phaser rifles in uniform is actually going to be, frankly, more of a risk than sending in 2 officers out of uniform. And regulations do allow for that. I'd rather not just 2, but...
Well, yeah.
I'm thinking between 4 and 6, subtly armed and subtly dressed.
Especially, I hate to say it, I don't want to have Orion Syndicate on side, but if we start a fight here, we're already going to get overwhelmed by people who probably going to hit us just to get a hit in, because they just won't like Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
If we can keep quiet and have the Orion Syndicate's interest to not start fights, that might help.
Makes life a hell of a lot easier.
Not slavers are better than slavers right now.
I am not inflexible. I do not approve of the Orion Syndicate's methods, but I also have no intention of beginning a fight on this station. I will be taking your suggestions for the away team, Lieutenants.
One thing which occurs, we're in a very unusual situation with the captain not present. This is going to be a difficult prospect and difficult mission, and you will want someone trained in diplomacy and someone with authority to make potentially, when I say legally dicey decisions, I mean decisions which may need to be accounted for later.
I believe I understand what you are driving at.
I don't like it.
No.
But this is not really anyone's area of expertise.
Very well, I will lead the away mission.
I can be present if you wish for my assistance. I would recommend if you're going to end up entering any kind of barter economy, you will probably want Lieutenant Strange. If nothing else, Starfleet engineers make wonderful diplomats in their own way for patching up all manner of things.
There's in places you can get on a starship if you try and fix on it.
Mm-hmm. You'll be leaving.
Very welcomed.
I assume you'll be leaving myself or Lieutenant Kantos in command in your absence.
Yes, Lieutenant Kantos, you will have the ship. I do not anticipate anything outrageous occurring while we are on the station. However, should the worst happen, it is important that you get the ship to safety.
Commander.
In which case, again, considering he's been handling most of the investigations into whatever's going on so far, Ensign Cayce is an obvious choice as well. For the away team.
He is the most logical choice, yes.
He's the most well-informed choice out of the folk available on the Iskandar. I just wonder whether he is actually, yeah, the situation we're sending our folk into.
He's a Starfleet officer.
He's a Starfleet officer, yes. You know what I'm getting at.
I understand what you're getting at, and I sympathize entirely, Lieutenant. He can be he's very young, and it's a consequence of rapid graduation in the war. But look, I'm not going to recommend a command decision based on tough love of exposing him to the fact that the entire galaxy sometimes has humans who ain't as fond of Federation principles. But it's something he's going to have to face at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. The away team will consist of me, Lieutenant Strange. She nods to Lieutenant Vance, 2 of your security officers, and Ensign Cayce. Lieutenant Vance, if you could see to the... I'm trying to think what the word is for dressing.
Fashion!
Incognito.
Attire?
Camouflage?
The away kit.
I'll make sure we're all properly geared.
Thank you. And she will walk out onto the bridge, and as Vance goes to leave, she will say, Ensign Cayce with Lieutenant Vance, he will brief you.
Yes, Commander.
You're right there!
It's just instinct.
grab Cayce into a turbo lift. No, fault walk with him into it.
Chuck him in with.
Get out, boy!
Be gone.
You're a soldier now.
Into space, you grow up.
Out you go.
Mike knows what he did. Into the turbo lift. Woo! Ensign, congratulations, you're up for the away mission onto this Anchorage Junker station.
Very well.
Obviously, we're going to be trying to find missing people and dealing with some angry Nausicaans who are probably not going to want us to take those people, and probably cooperating with some Orion Syndicate and maybe some other scum along the way.
I understand.
You ever spend much time out of Federation space?
No, Lieutenant.
You ever spent much time on, well, they'll call it an independent trading outpost?
No, Lieutenant.
Okay. People are going to be able to figure out, if they want to, that we're Starfleet. We're not going to be in uniform. How much we identify ourselves as Starfleet is going to be up to the commander. But people are going to figure it out. You're going to walk and talk different to anyone else there. Someone's probably going to want to try to beat you up at some point just to prove a point. You've got that look about you.
No.
It's going to be rough. I'm going to try to look out for everyone. But, in all realness, we're not in Kansas anymore.
I understand, Lieutenant. Apart from the reference, but I understand the meaning behind it.
I mean, I'm from Texas. I'm not from Kansas. That was not a literal. It's going to get weird. And when I say we're possibly going to have to bend some regulations, it's all for needs of the many outweigh needs of the few.
Yes.
We're the few in this.
Yes. I understand
Right.
that fully. Lieutenant.
Now let's get us some utterly filthy clothing.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Scene.
What
So-
does Lieutenant Strange pull together from his box of
Box
wonders,
of tricks.
Mhm.
box of magic?
Let's see. Not weapons, obviously. That's...
He's got the stuff all the Ferengi want.
If anybody has any ideas while I'm pondering, feel free to chip in. But
I mean, you could ask
ask
the
who?
Ferengi.
I could ask the Ferengi, but you know that requires like talking
they-
to the Ferengi.
Yeah, they'll like engineering parts. They might want you to replicate them something. They might want dilithium. They might want deuterium.
I think mostly what was wanted was Talandra didn't want to just drop Strange straight on that task. Like, she wanted Strange to be able to take a bit of inventory so that when an offer was made, Strange would be able to come back with something straight away rather than finagling.
Yeah,
Diplomacy indicates that we must be sort of more on the forward foot than the back foot.
yeah.
Talandra's
So
very, very on the
I
back foot.
think the route that Strange is going to run down is a kind of power systems kind of route. Yeah, that's part of space stations. That's always quite liable to break them down, and also power systems and the ability to power stuff is quite versatile, and so it's quite valuable. So even if the Ferengi don't immediately go, magic battery, yes, I will plug that into thing, they will know somebody else who wants the magic space batteries.
What do you think the Ferengi are?
I mean, they are basically space goblins.
Yeah, they are basically space goblins, and so we'll either go, ooh, valuable thing that I want, or ooh, valuable thing that other person wants, and will give me valuable thing. Yes, thanks.
Cool. You have an idea. You've got it. Yeah, you've got a good idea of what stuff is disposable from your ship supplies, which is not as much as you would like.
So Talandra will have Kantos Numus closer to the state.
Yeah. You can move within transporter range. The ship will inevitably be hailed by traffic control on anchorage.
Want to speak to the Keymaster?
Yeah, the Keymaster.
Oh, you mean like key, like Doc?
I am the Keymaster.
You're right,
the
Ken.
keys to the space station. You must approach the keymaster.
That's it got weird.
A-Y.
Get it now.
This is not called Ghostbusters.
I wish I was smart like Talandra and not stupid like me.
I don't want you to change.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, you get on screen. You get a bustling, grimy control center with a Ferengi face there. This is Tal. What's the Starfleet ship wanting here?
I believe what any other ship wants here. We wish to dock.
You want docking? You want a berth for your big ship? You want berth for your shuttle? You want
Yeah.
transport?
We'd like all of those things, thank you.
You want to dock your ship and the shuttle and to beam people up more?
I was trying to think of what I was going to say next. Because I was thrown by how stupid I am.
The fact that you're trying to question astrologer with yeah.
Because listens to this list of things coming out of his Ferengi's mouth, and then it just goes, yes.
I was trying to think whether he could be both. It really threw me.
Both is good.
Both the Keymaster and the Keymaster. I was thinking, how can he be both? And then I thought, no wait, he's not one of those things. That was a big mistake.
Okay.
This has been Star Trek Adventure. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Is he was
So-
still going?
You get Tall's face, and he's like, okay, so you wanna be on your
It's the Ferengi voice that keeps breaking my head.
back in your ship. Focus here, Vulcan lady, come on, Vulcan lady. You want to be docking your ship, or a shuttle, or just beaming some people on board.
We wish to beam some people aboard.
All right, how many people?
Oh god, haven't
You said six.
Six.
Six people. All right. Starfleet ship. Costs. That brings a little bit extra because you bring extra trouble on board with you. So, I am going to be charging you a case of deuterium or your next best offer.
Talandra will glance off screen at Lieutenant Strange, who has got his inventory before him
That's just his selection of.
and can know what would be comparable to deuterium. I think we should just give them the sources section. We should just separate it and just let it float into the station.
Just
Where it just
into the
explodes.
Just go, there you go!
There we go, we've docked.
It is fuel. It is basically fuel.
But
But is a case something we can spare? Like, I don't know.
It's not an unreasonable amount. It's a relatively small amount. I will accept and exchange bullshit.
Deuterium is probably a really common, like, as power supply fuel type thing.
It's a nice universal thing.
It's a nice universal one, and like you literally make it from water. Or
Fine,
just
you got to bring
scoop it out.
science into
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to bring science into this. You either make it get it out of water, or you, because we're in space, you can probably just go up to the nearest star and scoop some off, and put it in a box, and then go, here you go. So yeah, like
We've got a cool ship for cool people.
But Ferengi will respect us if we barter.
just go, here's the box. Just not.
Tall is looking at you now.
I was waiting for
Yeah.
the stranger's response.
Yeah, no, Strange kind of nods to indicate, yeah, that's fine. Like, this is probably something we can actually just do without needing to worry about the gubbins I've got in the box here.
Then, because he's off screen, what Talandra is doing is looking at him and looking like she's thinking, like a few seconds longer than he goes, yeah, that's cool, as if she is considering whether that is a fair deal.
Yep.
Like,
Okay.
do I
I'm gonna
ding
have to
pick you
roll
up
if
with
you're
your
trying. Make me a. It's gonna be another command and presence for bullshitting a Ferengi.
I'm good for that. 2 dice.
2 dice. I'll allow you to use your composure focus for this.
Good. I am composed. It me. Why have I opened Excel?
Yeah, no, definitely. Totes composed whilst going, yes, I will have all 3 of your shit things. All of your docking.
Will you shut up? That's 2 successes.
Okay.
But at some point you can take the fifth.
Like I said, she's not hamming up. She's not being like, is that fair?
She's a Vulcan, so yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally, because she can't really deceive him too much because she's not a trader and she's very honest. But she will take the extra few seconds to think about it, and then we'll say, well, that seems like a fair price.
All right, then I'll be receiving you because you're a special Starfleet guest down at the transporter bay, and I will be expecting to see that tank, that case of deuterium, and it will be in my hands before you'll be allowed to disembark.
Of course. Iskandar out.
You're very put out Ferengi at being hung up on before you kill the view screen.
Lieutenant, you have the con. Star White.
Quick.
Yeah, and as the away team starts getting ready to roll out and onto Anchorage base, we're going to take a break because we clearly fucking need it.
I will just be the one to take a break. I will see you soon.
Bye.
And welcome back. We've just come back from our break, and you are here with us for Star Trek Iskandar, episode The Cutting Edge. The intrepid crew of the USS Iskandar have made it to Anchorage Base, and independent trading station, which is not at all a den of scum and villainy, hot on the trail. Add 1 threat to the pool.
Okay.
Hot on the trail of Nausicaan ships who are believed to have stolen and abducted Starfleet officers. Add another threat to the pool.
That wasn't me that time.
I know! It doesn't have to be just you. The
You're
threat
all
is for everyone.
You're all shitheads.
Shithead.
You played us.
You played yourselves. So at Anchorage Station, they have accepted provisionally the offer of a fellow named Carrick of the Orion Syndicate, who doesn't like Starfleet, he doesn't like things blowing up, and he doesn't like Nausicaan slavers. So who knows if he can be trusted? They have arrived, and my nose itches just as I'm doing a recap. They have arrived and will be beaming over onto Anchorage Base, where a Tal, the Keymaster of
Quame.
Quame. That wouldn't help. You'd just laugh about other things.
No,
Yeah.
I'm very serious.
Tal, the Ferengi who does a job on Anchorage Base, will be waiting for them. So we cut to the scene. Okay, actually, no, because I've had this problem with characters with player parties before. Does anyone care a great deal about what they're wearing?
Neutral colours,
Mhm.
like that of people who would be flying about.
Cool. I've been burnt before of thinking that this wasn't important.
In fact, as nondescript as is possible to get. So we can't describe it
It's
because it's
impossible.
so nondescript.
Okay. We're in like Star Trek Disco incognito clothing, so someone gets a leather jacket.
Disco incognito clothing. That's not
Oh,
very incognito.
okay,
That's like,
Okay, yeah, you're quite right. And we clearly need Talandra in a leather jacket.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone gets a leather jacket. It's either Vance or it's Talandra.
I kind of want Talandra to look weirdly badass, even though
Yeah.
she doesn't care.
Yeah, see, I knew this would matter.
Wait a second.
Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle transporters as the 6 officers as Commander Talandra, Lieutenant Strange, Lieutenant Vance, Ensign Cayce, and we can actually specify which one. Let's have crewman erotica with us,
Carnal.
Connell!
Carnell. And
everyone's favourite.
I don't remember. Ryder. Let's bring Ryder. He punched Casey that one time.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
good
he'd
one.
do it again. God damn
He
it.
wants to.
I mean, unless we want to bring
Wonderful.
Zal, but I don't want to make Mike
No,
No.
a sock puppet. And also, shit might happen on the ship.
Erotica and Ryder.
Yeah, you got Carnell and Ryder.
So just for the clarification, on the bridge now we have Kantos and Burov.
And Zal.
And
Zal,
so,
Zal can take tactical.
No. Zelda's going to be asked to leave the bridge for a moment. And just leave Arcady and Candace to the bridge.
so they can drink
Computer.
wine.
Computer, rosé, sparkling, ice cold.
So you arrive, and immediately you're hit with a wave of humidity, which you are not used to on a well-regulated environment of a Starfleet ship. There is a hint of... It doesn't stink of sweat, but there is a hint of sweat, grease in the air, of moisture. The lighting isn't as great. Everything's got that dingy, shitty sci-fi metal and brown hint to it.
A-shaped halls.
Yes. Dangling, like, open panels, occasional dangling cables, which you got to duck around and that kind of shit. You're in shithole land. And stood before you is, with a couple of big, burly Orion males, is a Ferengi. It's Tal. Well, that'll be you. I want my case of deuterium now.
Talandra pays absolutely zero heed to the Orions and will step forward with that sort of Starfleet confidence of a very tall Vulcan woman. And
Frankie
will,
Waddles.
and will twist the case in her arms and open it so that he can see without handing it over.
He sees the little canister inside, pulls out a non-Starfleet issued tricorder thing, scanner.
It doesn't say widdly wee, it's like...
He gets a roll.
I think it's definitely blurp, blurp.
What a horrible noise.
Exactly.
Like, theoretically,
Strange.
It's
wrinkles
like he's
his
just pulled pain goo out of his pocket.
Don't you newt me, you shit.
Blurp, blurp.
says Talandra. Okay, I'll take it. He gestures to one of his flunkies, and this big burly Orion kind of comes over and
She closes the lid.
takes it. Welcome to Anchorage. Obviously, if you start any trouble around here, you're probably going to be the first people to get shot in the face. So if you do that, make sure that you're out in front of the security cameras, because then I could sell the footage of Starfleet getting their heads blown off. That would go for some great rates. But other than that, you're here. There's someone else waiting for you outside. I don't really care.
Understood.
Go.
Talandra steps out. It's really obvious she's Starfleet because she can't stop walking like a Vulcan.
You all emerge into the corridor, into the dingy corridors of Anchorage, and waiting there is Jefferson Carrick.
How dreamy is he on a scale of 1 to 10?
He's got that kind of skinny pirate look, which is of the slightly more pointy than necessarily like languidly lanky.
Okay.
I did not hear that, and I don't want to make assumptions of what this is doing to people.
Can I get my tea?
Okay, yeah, no, he's
Rob, I hope you're getting this.
he's leaning against a wall, wearing scrappy pirate spacer gear. Iskandar, or what should I be calling you?
My name is Commander Talandra.
Commander Talandra. That's a good, nice and bit of discretion there.
If you wish to be discreet, my name is Talandra.
Prefer it, but not here to cause offense. Here to make sure that we can all get on swimmingly.
There would be no offense taken. You are not an official member of Starfleet.
Okay. Just going to assume your friends here are crew members, and let's just not get into all of this. So, hi, Jefferson Carrick. Good to meet you all. It's not, but let's get all of this done as quickly as we possibly can. Welcome to Anchorage. It's awful. The good news is that the bar is nearby, and that's a good place for us to find anything else. There is a major marketplace in the center. That's where all of the business gets done. We don't want to go wandering off down the different corridors of Anchorage. As you can see, this thing's welded together with parts and ships and freighters strapped onto it to create more docking space, more storage space, more hidey holes. The Nausicaans are docked a little distance away. We could mosey on down there and take a look. That would probably draw some attention. But if they're here, they're probably doing some business somewhere in the marketplace. So we can have a look there. We can ask in the bars. We can see if, the bar. We can see if they've been spotted. I'd recommend we have a little bit of a look around.
I will take you at your recommendation, Mr. Carrick.
As for your weapons, no bad thing for you to carry them openly. Sometimes people aren't going to start a fight with you because you're carrying a phaser. Sometimes they will start a fight with you because you're carrying a phaser. Let's go. He leads you off. Is anyone trying to not look like Starfleet? Even a little?
Like, I think Casey will lean a little too hard into it. Like, he like, it's more like his he's not swaggering. It's more like he's clearly on edge. So he's gonna like maybe overcompensate a little.
Okay.
Is he walking around like, you right? call me Casey. It's like, what voice is that? I don't know.
I don't know, I'm a geezer.
I'm a
Gaze!
I'm a geezer.
Let's consider this a presence and security check for this
Cool.
kind of bluffery
I
for
need to
anyone
roll
who's
under 9. I did not either time. Have some threats. Here you go.
It's a difficulty 1
Nope.
at this point.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, well, gain some momentum.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to roll for strange. He's not. It's not that he's not trying to look like he's Starfleet, but he is utterly failing at looking like he's anything other than an engineer.
I think you
Because
should roll.
looking-
I rolled.
I think you should roll, because there's engineer and then there's Starfleet.
You know what? I'm gonna roll for Talandra if only
What was it?
because
Security.
And presence.
Security and presence.
Yeah.
Wait, no, those are Cantus's stats, and Cantus would be really good at this.
well, next time we'll bring Cantos.
Next time.
So for Cantus, I would be rolling, trying to go for 14 or under. For Strange, 8. He is bad at this.
Probably for Strange, it's more how much looking around nervously is he doing.
It's less nervous and more just kind of going. He's basically just non-verbally tutting at everything. Just like, well, I wouldn't have the panels open like that. That part over there is an absolute disgrace. And
That's
why are
against
those cables
code.
hanging out?
What's this? This shouldn't be here.
What? I don't know.
How bad did you fail?
Well, I got a 15 and a 12, so you know.
Two
So
failures.
total failure.
Okay.
I'll tell you, but none of them are 20s, so it could be a lot worse.
So
Yeah.
for Talandra, I'm not rolling because I don't think she is so obviously Vulcan, and I imagine they don't get a lot of Vulcans out this way. But it's whether someone looks at her and goes, "Ah, that's a Vulcan. Maybe they're Science Academy," or someone looks at them and goes, "Oh, Starfleet."
Yeah, this is what I'm going for. This is like who's drawing attention to, or who at a glance is going to make a passerby think that they're Starfleet. We'll worry about.
That's a fail. A 20.
The good
Wait.
news.
Victory sip.
So that's 2 threat being added overall between Casey and Talandra. The good news is that Vance got 2 successes.
That's because
No.
he's got
That's 'cause he's
actual
good at
stats.
He's actually got stats at this. He needed a 13 or under, so he gained some momentum for the group.
Please tell me that while he was walking like a normal person, but maybe with a bit more like
Yeah.
strut, Casey's trying to impersonate him and walks like he's fucking got swollen testicles.
Yeah, because Vance knows how to like project his physicality, so he'll be walking with a bit of a swagger, and he'll be doing that.
Kind of rolling out the shoulders.
No, I love that. Like it's just like it's almost a mockery of Vance from this sweet boy that's trying his best.
He's so good at this.
So does he try her? Someone looks at the team as they walk past. Does Casey try her? Howdy.
Alright.
I think
Vance looks at him like,
What?
no, because like it's not confident either. So it will be like a hi, howdy.
"Hi, howdy."
Because if it was bad confident, this would be getting like Spider-Man 3 Evil Jazz.
Oh no.
It's just stammery and awkward, and he's trying to make friends.
Whereas Talandra, flat out, does not care that she looks absolutely Starfleet.
God, I'm at the threat pool right now.
I love the threat pool. The threat pool is my friend. I bathe in the threat pool. Do you know what this is? You think this is a delicious orange blossom oolong? Nah, mate. Threat pool. It's so warm and faintly orangey.
Carrick takes you through to a few winding areas of corridors. There obviously are various other docking ports and things, and other people coming and going. And you start to pass through all those seedy, unpleasant little pockets of the edge of the civilized galaxy of strange aliens in small groups having conversations furtively, and like humans who don't shave properly, and other sorts of and people who are grimy. It's all very un-Starfleet. It's deeply unpleasant.
Strange just throws up a little.
He doesn't care about the people. It's the ship that is just like, who put that there? Why would you do that? Who built this? Except they didn't. It's just stuck together with basically string and duct tape and hoop, and there's not even any of that.
Strange, you're blowing it.
He doesn't say any of this out loud. He's just sort of looking around the place, just like.
We're the best away team. I'm so proud of us.
Carrick is just carrying on. Vance will be taking up the back because that just watches everyone's asses. And we'll take you eventually. Carrick will eventually lead you through these winding kind of corridors, and you could tell ships have been bolted together for various sections of this out into the closest word for it is it's the approximation of a promenade on Anchorage. You're out on an upper level with down below is a big, wide, bustling arena. Arena's not the right word. That is going to imply the wrong thing. A big, bustling area. Yes. There are definitely like little makeshift stalls down there, some more makeshift than others. Some of it's just like cargo crates lined up. Some of these are slightly more well-to-do little shop fronts. And Carrick will gesture down. Anyone who wants to do business, they'll be down there. The Nausicaans, if they've been raiding recently, may well have something to sell. There's the possibility that what they have to sell may be some of your friends, but if there's a slave trade, if there's a slave auction of anything of that sort going on, it shouldn't be too difficult to find out. And if your Nausicaan friends are involved in this, that shouldn't be too difficult to find out. But I recommend that we probably start off down at the bar. It's a good place to get the lay of the land, ask some questions, and no one is going to be too surprised by you poking your noses into things. Whilst I'm here to help, I think it might be for the best that I'm not doing too much of the question asking around this. Consider me a facilitator.
It is considered.
Wonderful. You're a lot of fun, Talandra. You're a lot of fun. Come on.
I'm often told that.
Yes, good. He leads you through to, on the upper level, past a series of, like, the en terrace of this bar spilling out up onto the upper walkway consists of, like, packing crates and tiny shitty stools and various spacer crews spilled out onto there with their drinks. And inside is a bit of a mess of neon lights which flicker and sticky floors and some music with a thumping bass which just hums through the deck of, like, it's not so loud you can't hear yourselves think. It is bar kind of territory. You could start to head up towards the bar where there is a kind of similar looking to the accompaniment of Tal, a big Orion fellow behind the bar itself. Can people make me, what is a notice check in this system? Insight?
Depends what you're trying to notice, I think.
Insight something, I think.
Insight something.
To actually just physically spot something. It's an insight security check.
Well, that's a 20.
Too much base.
It's a difficulty
And
one.
one of these is a pass.
One success.
Also-
One success, 120.
Well.
Talandra notices nothing.
No, turn one. I said
Oh,
one.
sorry. I thought that was.
I was
thought you
welling
said
it.
well.
I was welling at that 20.
Okay. One success. Casey got one success.
Yep.
You can add to the momentum for Vance,
I have.
and I suppose also add to that would be momentum for Vance.
Grand.
And yeah, Vance.
I'm so glad we've got Vance. He's so competent.
That was a 20. Okay.
I did get a success with it.
Oh, okay. You did get a success. Brilliant.
I got
So,
one of them was a success, the other was a 20. Because Strange is good at things.
everyone notices sat down on one of the bigger tables, a little bit towards the edge. Then they stand out because they're all in similar clothing. In fact, they are in a uniform, and they are all of the same species. There are 8 Cardassians sat around one of the tables having drinks. They are chatting. They seem in fairly good spirits. They are not being particularly raucous. They are not being particularly subdued. They aren't like dominating the space in the way that big, large crowds can do. But they've got some bottles of Kanar, and they look, indeed, they are in uniform. They look like military of the Cardassian Union, chilling in a bar. As you notice this, Strange looks up, notices like some of the things on the drinks replicator look like they're probably going to kill someone if they just even put an input in the wrong way, which is the point where his hip bumps into one of the shitty tables and knocks it and all of the drinks on it flying.
Oh, Adam.
That will you spending
slow-
a threat then.
See, that's no. This is the complication of the 20.
No, so
Oh,
when you roll a 20, it's either a complication
Yes.
or the GM gets +2 threat. Not just
Yes.
one.
So teetering, it does that slow teeter before this table crashes. It's not enough to make the entire bar fall silent, but like the little pocket around you kind of stills.
The Cardassians clock us.
Where are your stats, buddy boy? Not bad. No, they roll 2 18s. Their nominated PC rolls 2 18s, so doesn't spot shit.
Fine.
However, this is the immediate pocket around you falls, and 2, again, Orions look down at where their drinks were, and then look up at Strange, and then stand, and Strange comes up to about here on them.
How tall are these Orions?
Pretty
They
big.
probably don't need to be very tall for strength.
They're like good 6'4". These are big, muscular Orions.
I know, but I'm thinking of Talandra, who's a tall bean.
The moment they're looking down at Strange, those are our drinks.
I'm really sorry.
You really should look where you're going in a place like this. Not really your kind of home, is it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I will
What?
watch where I'm going in future.
What?
I will watch where I'm going in future. I am really sorry.
You owe us. You owe us drinks. More drinks. Come on. Because you're gonna talk up.
Talandra's going to get involved. It's getting involved Talandra time. She recognizes that these two are obviously very physically intimidating and are basically physically intimidating Strange into a puddle of strange puddle. So she's going to do that thing where she just very gently steps in front of him, but is using her non-confrontational Starfleet body language of "I'm tall and not afraid of you." Are they both men?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you're quite right. Perhaps the best place to address these replacement drinks are at the bar.
Yeah, and I think for the likes of you, here in a place where you really shouldn't be, it's going to be drinks for the rest of the night.
For as long as we are here, I'm sure your cups will not be empty.
Make me a difficulty 1. Reason and command. Sorry, presence and command.
Can I use my composure for this?
Yeah, composure would be, composure focus will count. Actually, I'd say diplomacy focus
Yeah,
counts.
diplomacy would also count.
So I don't want to blame Mike, who very, very, very kindly did my character sheet for me. But Mike, I've got composure twice. Does that mean I'm super composure?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am okay with that. presents.
We'll fix it between sessions. Fix it in post.
Oh, that's a 1.
Oh, nice.
Which is a super success, and it's well below my command.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah, well, a 1 is automatically 2 successes.
yeah, but it's also I've got a.
It's also yes, but like
Basically, it just means that in this, Talandra is being
Talandra's
super calm and super. She's basically doing the exact perfect. I'm not scared of you, but I respect that you are scary.
Yeah. All right. Let's all go over to the bar, and then you newcomers, because you're clearly not from around these parts, can get us some drinks. And maybe he, pointing at Strange, can learn to look where he's going.
Quite so.
You can all proceed to the bar. Carrick has clearly fucking abandoned you and is leaning against the bar already.
Although it's quite sweet because very clearly Talandra's body language is entirely nope. I like the guy was clearly like, I'm gonna point at him, and it's like, I'm here now. And you're not gonna point
dealing with Talandra now.
You're not gonna point at this guy.
On the way to the bar, Casey will just say to Strange, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good. Move on.
Just a quick question. I know Starfleet doesn't have currency, but people always seem to be able to pay for stuff at places.
Yeah, you can.
Do we have tiny amounts of misc?
Yeah, you've got some stipend shit. I don't.
Provided I'm not going I want to buy the whole damn planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would assume that we have pocket money for those times where we're not doing Starfleet.
Yes.
Some of us need to use that
Little
money.
Latinum, because for some reason it's always Latinum
Always
whenever
Latinum.
it comes up.
Then Talandra will approach the bar.
Big bartender.
Clearly, actually, this works quite well because the bartender we won't have to be awkwardly shuffling for the bartender because these scary Orions are
That's
Scary
true.
Orions.
Scary Orions do actually clear a way for you at the bar.
and she will put.
Carrick sort of has to duck under one of their arms to kind of rejoin you.
I was lounging here the whole time. Did you say there was a board with how much drinks were?
No, but there is, sure.
I'm sorry, I think you said drink.
No, there is.
But it's enough that she can put down an amount that's clearly over the odds, but not here's 10 million gold.
I don't know what money's worth.
That's clearly over the odds, and says, whatever these gentlemen are drinking.
The bartender looks at them. I reckon that you boys will be fine once I serve you up, right? Gives them a look. They sort of shuffle. The bartender gets the two Orions their drink. They exchange. You've got universal translators, so they exchange a few pleasantries, and there's some pointed comments from the bartender who seems appeased by having been paid quite a bit to make those other two Orions fuck off now.
Talandra has
no trouble in my place.
No trouble. I'll kick you out.
And then the other two Orions back off, and you've got the Orion bartender and Carrick.
In the meantime, I was wondering if you could be of some assistance.
Probably.
We understand that there were some Nautilans that touched down here recently.
Well, you get all sorts coming through around here. So, Nausicaans have been around a lot of places, but look, pretty clear that you came in from the big Starfleet ship what showed up, and I don't really like. No one's a snitch around here.
She will keep her hand down on the bar and lean in. Oh, I believe it is unambiguously clear where we have come from. And we mean absolutely no trouble. If they wish us trouble, then it will be had. But all we want to do is talk with them. They have something of ours. They have brought Starfleet here, not us.
make me a... I'm going to make this a difficulty 2. Another presence and command check.
I'm going to spend Vance's momentum.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vance.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us ducked it up. I feel like this isn't a check we want to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Can I please call composure? Because I feel like...
Yeah, actually, because there's a lot of stone cold, I'm not making a threat, but you could interpret it as a threat if you want to make it that way, which I will definitely...
Basically, I think a lot of these things, a combination of composure and diplomacy go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think composure I will be ruling as how much of it's important that you appear pretty stone cold, but diplomacy is telling people, making them want it, saying something which they'll want to hear.
Okie dokie, it's good. It's good, guys. So focus.
Is it just a massive pile of 20s and you're just trying to convince us?
Well, don't have to say it like that. It's got to be under my command, hasn't it, to count as my focus?
To count as double.
Yes.
So that's a success, and double success.
Nice.
Yes!
Stone
Pull
cold.
that right back in.
Victory sip from my Iskandar branded mug.
The bartender looks over at Carrick. Carrick goes, "It's not exactly as if we're fans of Nausicaan slavers, is it?" And Narvo, the bartender, whose name I didn't tell you, but now his name is Narvo.
He says it, Narvo. It's not like
Narvo. Yeah, all right, Narvo. All right. Now, there are a lot of people who aren't going to want you to be getting underfoot. Syndicate here maybe doesn't care. He points at Carrick. But, yep, they're here. Yuval's crew are here. They're going to be down in the market. They've got some fresh slaves. There's going to be a sale, one of their little auctions. That'll be in, it's about 1100 local time. 1900 local time, station time. They'll be doing an auction. Usually brings in big crowds. People want to pick things up, and if there's some of your friends, they've got skills that can fetch a pretty price. Now, maybe you can inspect the goods, that sort of thing. But they're going to be down there, and a lot of eyes are going to be on them. A lot of eyes are going to be on your friends down on the marketplace.
I understand. We will attempt not to cause a scene.
I don't... Look, so long as people are going to be coming here and enjoying some drinks, I don't personally care.
Quick question. How long is that away from the time we're at now?
You've got 8 hours.
Oof. It's a long time to be discovered. And where might these individuals be found before their market deal?
Well, bunch of them, maybe all, I don't know, might be down there. As I say, that you like to whip up attention ahead of time. You know, look, we've got our people in cages. Come and have a look. See who you want to bid on. See what's worth what. It's always kind of useful to let the goods be inspected ahead of time. So they might be down there. They might not be. You'd have to ask Yuval.
Thank you for your time.
Can I get anyone any drinks? Carrot pops up. Yes, I'll have your second most expensive wine, because it'll be shit stuff. You're paying, of course, I assume, Funtalandra.
She doesn't call. It would be rude not to.
Yeah, it would. It would. Bartender sighs, goes to pour. Anyone else?
No, thank you.
Fans orders a synth ale because he knows how to pretend.
The thing is, I was just going to say Talandra does likewise, but I couldn't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Like, she orders a non alcoholic
Space
beverage.
beer.
Yeah, Talandra will.
Mhm.
Like, she doesn't lean against the bar because I don't think she can, but she'll certainly like put her weight into one arm against the bar, and will order a Simba.
Okay. Drinks get served out except for the two scared boys.
Mhm.
Like, while Strange might not have noticed the table he was walking into, he did spot the dodgiest fuck looking drinks replicator. And I was like,
It's true.
I'm not drinking that.
Yeah, but
Oh!
the security officer with the iron stomach and the Vulcan who can probably drink anything. Like, you human boyos.
Narvo
Yeah,
handles that
we're not
replicator like in the way that you do when things are really shit, but you know the knack for it, and so you're just like, oh, I've got to put my hand between those two potential dangerous wires, but I just do it every time without thinking about it.
You want to
And
sit there?
Oh,
I
fight
don't
my
need
then
this.
right way. Yeah, and he serves up the drinks. Carrick comes out of a bottle. Carrick is becoming increasingly like dashing English pirate rogue, which I was not intending. He was meant to be scummier than this.
Oh, no.
What are the Cardassians up to in this time?
There's the beard, there's almost a hint of floppy hair here going on.
The Cardassians, because they rolled for shit, are still chatting and drinking their canal.
Like, obviously we all saw it, but Talandra doesn't fully know that, so she will definitely make eye contact with Vance
Mm-hmm.
to say, this is a situation we should keep an eye on. But she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, look.
Look at the Cardassians.
Oh, look!
Mm-hmm.
So, 8 hours.
That's a lot of time.
You've got 8 hours. That's time to figure out exactly who of your people is here. The Nausicans might be keeping some, I was going to say stock, some people back on their ship. They might be only trying to put forward the best to try to drum up some excitement here.
In your experience, Mr. Carrick, how reasonable are these people?
Are you talking about their prices or their negotiation?
Negotiation.
Well, they're Nausicaan slavers. You're not going to be able to threaten them into giving up your people. They will rely on every dirty trick and the fact that, so as I say, some people take a pop at you just for the joy of taking a pop at Starfleet out in neutral space. They will not be intimidated, they will not be threatened, and unless you've got some excellent card up your sleeve, they, I doubt, can be convinced that this is in their best interests. They've raided a Starfleet ship and stolen Starfleet officers. That's already on the ballsy side for their style.
In which case, clearly, subterfuge is not an option for us. Were we to go down there to, as your charming friend put it, inspect the goods, it will be patently obvious who we are. How do you see that going, Mr. Carrick?
They might do something. They might think that they can add you to their collection. They might decide that escalating further when there is already a starship sat waiting here is a bad idea, and so may posture but leave you alone and encourage you to back off. They may think that they can convince you to do that. They may just try to have you killed discreetly once they know that you're here, or more overtly, but they might kill you to your face, they might try to kill you later, they might try to abduct you, or they might hope that you'll go away. The problem with waiting is that if they sell people, then they're going to get on. Those people are going to be put on ships, and then those ships are going to go off in different directions.
Again.
Starting a fight here, you'd want backup.
There's only so much backup available.
And you'd
It's not-
probably not want the backup to be more Starfleet officers beaming in with rifles.
An all-out firefight on this station is low on my list of priorities, Mr. Carrick.
I mean, there are fights and there are fights. Sometimes trouble happens in the marketplace and sometimes people get out of it. But again, if Starfleet come in, the station will probably finish it for you. If you want, I can have a little dash down to the market myself, or you send whoever you think is going to be good at bluffing down there and see what I can see.
She goes to speak and then pauses because she realizes that although we are not big on the subterfuge, there is subterfuge and then there is Horde door, where's Starfleet? Vance.
Commander?
Take your people and accompany Mr. Carrick to the market.
Can I leave Ryder here?
As you wish.
We'll go do a little bit of recon. Do we have permission to interact with the Nausicans, or should we be watching from afar?
From afar.
Understood, Commander. We'll go have a little mosey on down.
And super hyper subtly, she's going to do whatever it is that Starfleet officers do when they don't have their con badges on, but it's obviously something.
They tend to have them on them like in a pocket.
Talandra to Iskandar.
Yep, Countess Hick, receiving you, Commander. How's it going?
Well enough. We have reconnaissance on where these people might be, but so far we have managed to avoid severe incident. I would like a bead on those Nausicaan ships. We believe that if they are backed into a corner, they may attempt to run with the people that remain. If they begin to charge their engines, I want to know about it.
Duly noted, Commander.
And I would like a transporter team maintaining not a full lock, but awareness of the comm badges that are down on this planet surface. It may be that we need to beam out in a hurry.
Will do, Commander.
Keep me posted. Talandra out.
Good luck.
Mike, can you add one to the threat pool, please?
Why?
No, what do we do?
What happened?
I had reasons to roll dice.
I don't like your
No,
reasons. They
I don't
all
like you
suck.
having reasons to roll dice.
Your reasons are bad and you are bad.
Your reasons are bad and you should feel bad.
Mike, add a second threat to the
Ah.
threat pool.
GM unfairness.
Cruel.
But Talandra will sit there and take a cocktail and watch the bar.
Mm-hmm. As you watch with poor Ryder, who obviously is Vance's least favourite child.
Oh.
Don't know why I didn't choose him. One of the Cardassian
You know, Ryder or erotic.
Etikon. One of the Cardassians gets up from the table and looks pretty much straight at you before picking up his drink and walking over.
Talandra keeps an incredibly neutral expression throughout, but doesn't obviously watch them approach.
Yeah. He
Davy's
walks,
doing this face.
he walks straight up to you all.
Does he have a rank?
Yeah, he's got he's a gull.
It's so important.
Mm.
That mean.
Like gull could be anything from a ship's captain to like a fucking admiral. So
But it's
But
definitely,
captain or above.
yeah,
but it's definitely the higher of the lower ranks.
he's a command rank.
He's basically. I'm viewing it this that he's basically Talandra's equal.
Yeah. Good evening. I wasn't expecting to see newcomers such as yourselves coming to this dingy station.
I'm told stations of these sorts attract all sorts. Go.
My full title, I'm Gull Elrad. What brings Starfleet to a station like this?
Missing persons.
Then that must be quite serious indeed to bring you so far beyond the Federation border. My crew and I are on fairly routine patrol, checking the neutral space near the Cardassian borders. Obviously, we can't be too careful about these sorts of dangerous rogue elements when the Cardassian Union is in the state it's in. You're quite welcome to join us for drinks. On me? Can be quite isolating out here with such a rough and ready company.
Thank you.
We are right now allies in peace.
We are. You will understand I am not hesitant because I am mistrusting.
I wasn't
concerned for my people.
Yes, I admit I wasn't looking to your reaction to give my confirmation. He looks between the two sad boys.
The two on edge boys.
I'm sure a drink in peacetime would be very pleasant. Thank you.
Most gracious of you. Go.
Yes, that's.
Basically, we'll
Yes.
hold a hand to the two sad boys to go and sit, because fundamentally the two that need to have quick access to stand up should be Talandra and the security officer, and less the sad boys.
Yes, the sad boys are not much use in this situation.
And she will she will bring her
As-
to sail and approach them.
As the two start to, as the two pass and you're left with Ryder, Elrad will lean in a little bit to Talandra. He's not getting up in her face, but he's leaning in, going, we do rather have to look out for each other in a place like this. I remember what Starfleet did for the Cardassian people in the war, you know, when we were all fighting the Dominion.
It is remarkable what a common foe can do for the unity of a people.
Yes. Let me get you a drink. And as the crew of the Iskandar on this isolated, shitty junket station, helped by a pirate with enslaved Starfleet officers to rescue from Nausicaan raiders, get to sit down for drinks with the crew of a Cardassian Union military ship who have offered them their help. And that's where I'm going to end session 2 of The Cutting Edge.
Good shit.
I'm well here for all of this, all of it.
So
Yes.
much awkward.
Thank
Talandra
you.
is doing the talking.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just being a
Party
great
face.
face. She's just Vulcaning it.
Jesus. I'm so mad at you, Kath. I'm not supposed to be the captain. That's not my job.
It's really stressful being the captain, isn't it? Because you're like, the GM's like, hey, here's the situation. And everyone else goes, I don't have to think of anything. The captain has to look at what the problem is and tells us what to do.
You signed up for this.
I
signed
know.
up to be your helpful friend, Vulcan.
One time.
It's fine. I can do this. I'm managing it. I'm
You are
staying
doing
Like,
amazing.
Vulcan Mom has absolutely got this.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vulcan Mum.
The thing is, I'm more proud of the we didn't bring Starfleet here, they did.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah, no,
good.
that was.
That worked real good, yeah.
Vulcan Mum. Also, I'm having real trouble because the last big Star Trek campaign I was in was also just post the Dominion War, in which I played a security officer who well fancied a Cardassian, and like his entire thing was that he like did a lot of his training on Cardassia, and he spoke a lot of the language, and he drank Knar and was very isolated on Cardassia. So for me, seeing Cardassians, I'm like, oh, yay, they're our friends. I'm like, no, Saren, no, they might not be our friends. He's like, what?
I didn't properly describe Elrad, but Elrad has that, like, Ducat swagger to it.
Yeah, like I could kind of tell
Yeah.
just from like
Damn it,
the
I
body
ship it.
language of the voice is like, right.
I ship it. I can't help myself. This is just who I am, and I have to just own up to it.
Within 1 minute, Talandra, Gull, Elrad.
I want him to be a recurrent character. And I want...
There's going to be a fight then between like Elrad and Carrick over Talandra because of this.
That's fair.
Oh no.
Which
I'm
is
just
probably
apparently throwing accidental Izzy everywhere.
I can't help it.
Now we have the, like, cultured Cardassian Gull and the roguish
sexy
pirate, which was not at all how they were written originally, but
well,
Cultured Cardassian girl gets it every time.
yeah, it's fair.
yeah, no, this is the thing I'm seeing here is like, you know, Carrick's just like Talandra doesn't care about Carrick.
He can be off flirting with Vance. That's
oh, fun Talandra, eh?
Hey, fun Talandra.
fun. She is fun.
Like,
Talandra's fun.
oh,
fun.
not fun with you.
I want a special prize to go to Mike for his roleplay for every time Garrick was sassy to Talandra. Casey's little face was like, that's Vulcan, Mum. She sassed him back. What's happening?
You can't call her fun Talandra. That's not her rank.
That's warned me that we weren't in Kansas anymore, but this isn't what I expected.
This is so beyond Kansas. This is Missouri.
We're in Missouri. Well, thank you very much. Does Izzy want to say some goodbyes?
I want to say hoorays. This was amazing and I loved it. I'm so excited and I've got so much enthusiasm to go.
Oh, this is just going to go so horrible.
Good.
Oh no.
So
I have to
good.
just say, I have been called out in the chat because I recently went on a slight rant about why I don't like Bajorans. I don't. I don't like Bajorans very much. And I'm a big fan of the Cardassians. Ooh. This is awkward.
You're a Cardassian apologist.
But if ever you want to get into this again, then Sable Whisper on Twitter and I have had very long conversations about it. And I do a really fun impression of the Major Kira when dealing with the Cardassians. It's a riot at parties. I'm not going to do it now because it's late, but it's very funny. Yeah, I don't like Bajorans very much. I find them very annoying. Anyway, so...
I love Bajorans.
Well, they're banned from Iskandar. And you introduced Cardassians, not me, so I've got free reign. Anywho. Oh gosh, I'm out of tea. So this has been The Cutting Edge. As per usual, we run the various trash campaigns on fortnightly cycles. So next week, Tuesday the 30th, will be, if I remember correctly, the gripping finale, or coming up to the gripping finale of Dragon Age Under the Sapphire Sun, which is very exciting. If I recall correctly, then the Templars were running to stop the annulment of the entire circle at Montsamard. So will they get there in time? That's something to find out. But that means that the next session of Star Trek Iskandar will be on November the 6th at 8 p.m. Of course, if you have questions, comments, or various enthusiasms, you can reach the Trash Crew on at @ityoucrew. All the details are below. I am at Praxis Descends. Kath is at...
C.S. Stinton.
And Mike is at...
M.W. Kilburn.
And if you want to reach Emily, lean out of your window
Pigeon.
and caw 3 times.
Send me a carrier pigeon.
Or send it to one of us, and we will deliver it to her in the form of a riddle.
Tied to a pigeon.
Tied to a pigeon, obviously. How else does everyone get these things done? That's why it's called Twitter. That's a good joke. I'm going to have a tea. So yes, that is all very exciting. There's lots going on at the moment. We thoroughly appreciate all of your comments so far. We've had some pretty interesting ones, and the chat's been really lively tonight. Of course, I'm stalling because my internet's been really slow, because now I'm going to remind you that the It You Trash crew and all of the subsidiary games attached to it have a Patreon account, which is patreon.com/itucrew, and the lovely patrons that give us money effectively fund the ability to do nonsense like this and have the Zoom account and technology and other such things that it might be reasonable to ask that I know those things are, but unfortunately I'm not Sunny Kitty or Pretty Ideal, and they know where the money goes, and I just trust them because they are my friends. So please throw your trash bags up for these lovely people who have given us money to make games. They are... don't know. Amy C, Araloki, Bun Bun of Bun Bun Gaming, Caffeine Kitty, Chris Gallen, Henry Prestige, Hobbs138, James Malloy of Protein City Comics. I'm coming back to him in a second. Remind me, I was going to say that. Louise Sutcliffe. Oh, this isn't you.
Yeah.
Michael Bowman, Mike Fielding, Mike Kilburn, the famous
Who's
Mike
that?
of 3 Mikes. Mike, you can't back us on Patreon. You're us. But I like that.
Mike can pay himself if he wants to.
I like that all the mics are together.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. Although Bowman, Fielding, and Kilburn sounds like it would be a sort of law firm in a thing.
It would be.
And
We
you have
are.
You have wacky adventures. Red Fox, Socky, and of course, extra special enormous trash bags for everyone's most favourite named patron, Helena Handbasket.
That's a good name.
Which is of particular love to me, and I guess Emily.
And yes, also me.
Because even though you're not in Arisen anymore.
I'm not in Arisen anymore, but, you know, I was in Arisen for 4 whole years.
Helena Handbasket is a very important LARPer to me and Emily in Empire LARP, the game that all 4 of us attend, because we're all nerds, which is just a fact we've had to learn to accept. But yes, if you want to hit us up on Patreon, feel free to do so. I might say your name in the credits. Now, the thing I wanted to say, which isn't about trash at all, but tomorrow is the finale of this arc of Protein City Comics, and it's amazing, and I will cry, and I need everyone to go right now. I don't know how many episodes of Protein City there are currently, but you need to go get caught up now, and do all that, and then tomorrow finish the finale, and then let me know what you thought of it, because it's going to be amazing, and it's my favourite podcast, and I love it, and that's all from me. I think that's all. Is everyone good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Shit, nailed it. I'm the best at this.
Boom.
So we'll see you Trek fans in a fortnight.
Hold on. I forgot how to do the thing.
Oh, you're so
Yeah, we should-
professional.
Should totally be doing
And we are...